Hi, Drew Zagorski here with Left Brain, Right Brain. Welcome to the Pragmatist Guide to Small Business Marketing. Today I want to talk about being a five-tool brand. In baseball, there's such a thing as a five-tool player. That's a guy who's fast. He's got speed on the base paths and out in the field. He can sling the leather. That means he can play defense. He can play it well. Nothing gets past him. He can throw. His arm is like a cannon and it's accurate. He can hit for power and he can hit for average. Usually, when you got a five-tool player on your team, you got a guy that's going to lead you to a World Series and almost inevitably a guy that's going to land himself in the Hall of Fame. With a brand, there's five tools that can come together to make a brand that is just going to lead its space. When I talk about a brand and a five-tool brand, here's what I mean. That brand, number one, it knows its audience. It doesn't talk about itself when you go to its website or read a brochure. It's putting its story in the context of the audience it's trying to connect with. That is, they understand their audience's needs, desires, aspirations, and they speak to that so that when that person comes and encounters that brand, they're hearing a story that's going to resonate with them. The second thing is an iconic logo. That speaks for itself. Think about all those iconic logos out there, Starbucks, Targets, hopefully Left Brain, Right Brain. It's a visual icon that cannot be mistaken for anything else but your business. The third thing is consistency across media, whether you're looking at something in print, online, on the radio or TV. It's consistent. The imagery, the messaging, it's consistent across all media. The fourth thing, and maybe this could move up the line a little bit, but it's a great website because anymore, let's face it, that's the first place 99% of the world sees your brand and encounters it. If they get a postcard, they're going to your website. So if you've got a lousy website, you're going to lose on that mark. So make sure your website is well done, well executed, easy to use, it's responsive across all the devices that people use today, and that it's consistent with your brand message and your brand identity. When all these things come together, it creates that fifth element of a five-tool brand, and it's that a brand that creates believers. This is only possible when those other four tools are in play. And that is when everything comes together at the end of the day, you're consistent. You've got the great website. You understand your audience. You've got an iconic logo. But there's another thing that goes into being a creator of believers in your brand, and that's always doing what right. Let's face it, nothing ever goes perfectly. So when something goes wrong, if you have a problem with a product or a service, always do what's right for the client, regardless of how it might cost you as a business. Because inevitably, when something like that happens, oftentimes it makes a bigger fan than somebody who's disappointed if something goes wrong and it isn't handled well. So chew on that for a while, take a step back and look at your brand. Is it doing these five things? Do you understand your audience, or is your marketing message all about you and how great you are and how long you've been in business and your price quality, blah, 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 blah? Do you have a logo that is iconic or at least extremely memorable that when somebody sees it, they don't even need to see your name. They know what that logo is all about. Make sure you're consistent across all media. Make sure you've got that great website and create believers by always doing the right thing and making sure you are spot on with your message and your brand identity. If you're doing all these things, you will have a five-tool brand that's going to take you to the Hall of Fame. Any questions about this, feel free to call at 503-629-8674 or visit us online at lbrbm.com. Thanks and have a great day.